Welcome to my channel Underground Ring. When facing the monster, you can run, but you can't hide from a brutal end. That's the grim reality for anyone who steps into the ring with Naoya Inoue. There is no escaping the fate that awaits his opponents. Nicknamed the Monster, not just for marketing flair, but because of his destructive and often surgical dismantling of anyone standing across from him, Inoue is a living nightmare for the bantamweight division and, increasingly, for the boxing world at large. With a staggering knockout percentage of over 90%, he doesn't just win, he devastates. His style is a masterful blend of calculated aggression and explosive athleticism, sharpened with world-class timing, accuracy, and perhaps most notably, a level of composure that belies the destruction he brings. Once he sets foot in the ring, it becomes his realm. His opponents are not just fighters trying to win, they are prey trying to survive. For Inoue, fighting is not simply a sport, it is an art form, a science, and a personal execution of physical genius. And through every bout, he paints his canvas with violence, precision, and elegance. Inoue didn't enter the sport like most young prospects, gently easing into professional waters with soft touches and learning fights. He leapt headfirst into the fire. In his very first professional bout, he squared off against the reigning Filipino champion. Without hesitation or caution, Inoue pressed forward with sharp, snapping punches that landed with unexpected maturity and timing for someone in their debut. The fight did not last long, and the message was sent loud and clear. Inoue was not here to participate. He was here to dominate. His second professional fight came against the Thai national champion in April 2013. Many fighters would never dream of facing regional title holders so early in their career, but Inoue obliterated him just as he did the first, continuing his streak of quick, emphatic finishes. What made these early fights so remarkable wasn't just the knockouts, it was the composure, the poise, and the complete absence of nerves under bright lights. It was the emergence of something rare, something special. That belief was tested when Inoue faced his first major domestic test, a Japanese title challenger named Yuki Sano. This fight would not only showcase his resilience, but would elevate his status among elite prospects to full-blown phenom. From the opening bell, Inoue began dissecting Sano with thudding right hands, his footwork setting the angles and his head movement making him almost untouchable. Sano, a gritty and durable fighter, tried to weather the storm and fire back. But Inoue's tempo was different. It was relentless, sharp, and punishing. Midway through the fight, he executed a feint to the body, forcing Sano's guard to drop. In a flash, he brought a blistering left hook upstairs, one that snapped Sano's head and made his legs betray him. Though he didn't fall immediately, the shot reverberated through his body like a system failure. What followed was a punishing barrage. But during the chaos, Inoue injured his right hand, a serious blow for a power puncher so reliant on both hands. Yet even with one hand out of commission, Inoue did not retreat. Fighting with just his left, he remained dominant. The left hook, now his primary weapon, landed again and again, staggering Sano and forcing him to taste the canvas. What stood out wasn't just that Inoue was fighting one-handed, it was how effective and strategic he was even in that state. He adapted his angles, adjusted his movement, and used every ounce of ring intelligence to continue hurting his opponent. Sano hung on by a thread, but the monster closed the show in round 10 with a final flurry, forcing the referee to stop. The carnage. Inoue had fought half a fight handicapped and still outclassed, outfought, and overwhelmed a national-level contender. The boxing world took notice. By 2014, Inoue's legend had grown, but so had the expectations. He answered those with one of the most vicious performances of his career, this time against a tough, determined challenger who refused to go quietly. From the moment the bell rang, Inoue's presence was commanding. Each punch sounded like a crack of thunder and his opponent, a seasoned warrior named Wido, tried to exchange early to gain respect. It didn't work. Inoue's response was to increase the intensity, launching combinations with insane torque and speed. Even Wido's counters, well-timed as they were, only invited more pain. Inoue's shift to the body was brutal. He dug into the liver with short hooks and ripped uppercuts to the midsection that left Wido gasping. With his opponent backing to the ropes, Inoue turned into a predator stalking wounded prey. The blows came with rhythm and accuracy. One to the head, two to the body, back upstairs, down again. And Wido's defenses began to unravel. Inoue toyed with him in spots, landing punches at will and slipping counters with ease. When Wido tried to rally, charging like a desperate bull, Inoue stood in the pocket, welcomed the exchange, and detonated crisp counters with breathtaking speed. A left hook to the ribs made Wido double over. Another clean combination forced a visible bow from his body. It was no longer a fight. It was a systematic demolition. Eventually, Inoue delivered a liver shot that folded his opponent like a chair. The referee, understanding what was at stake, called it off. Then came the bout against the Thai warrior with the unbreakable jaw. A fighter known for taking punishment and still standing, he entered the ring with confidence, fully intent on trading fire with the monster. And trade he did. For the early rounds, the Thai fighter showed immense heart, standing toe-to-toe and refusing to back away, even as Inoue's power began to mount. But heart only takes a man so far. Inoue was unrelenting, switching between orthodox and southpaw, throwing from angles and applying psychological pressure with every feint and twitch. The Thai fighter held his ground, but the cost was visible. Welts formed, his movements slowed, and his balance faltered. Midway through the fight, Inoue unleashed a series of punches that tested the boundaries of human tolerance. The Thai fighter still didn't fall, but his soul seemed to waver. In the 10th round, Inoue landed two crushing right hands flush. The Thai went down, not just in body, but in spirit. He got up, staggering like a broken avatar, and the referee stepped in. It was over. The uncrackable jaw had been cracked, the unbreakable man broken. Then, on December 13, 2022, Inoue entered Ariake Arena to face Paul Butler for the undisputed bantamweight crown. Butler came with credentials, 32 wins, only 2 losses, and an 8-fight winning streak. He was confident, maybe too confident. He spent the lead-up to the fight dismissing Inoue's dominance, believing he could solve the puzzle. But from the first round, it was clear he had made a fatal miscalculation. Once Inoue touched him, all the swagger vanished. Butler shelled up, raised his guard, and circled the ring in full retreat. He didn't fight, he survived. Inoue, sensing his opponent's fear, went into full showman mode. He showcased Ali shuffles, behind-the-back movements, Roy Jones style, taunts and head feints that made Butler freeze. But behind the flair was real menace. Every punch had purpose, every move a calculated dismantling. Butler threw occasional jabs but flinched at every counter, clearly rattled. Inoue pushed the pace, applying pressure like a predator circling his prey, cutting off the ring, mixing head and body shots with terrifying fluidity. He gave Butler no time, no space, and certainly no respect. By the 11th round, the inevitable arrived. Inoue launched a brutal right hand that stunned Butler, and then a barrage of lefts and rights folded the Brit like a house of cards. The referee waved it off. Inoue stood undisputed. That moment marked a defining chapter in Inoue's legacy. But perhaps more frightening is that he continues to evolve. He's not just a knockout artist, he's a complete fighter. He reads opponents like open books, dissects them page by page, and finishes the story with a violent final chapter. Inoue is a once-in-a-generation talent. His fights are not just entertaining, they are iconic. They are evidence of a fighter, operating at a historic level, blending instinct, skill, and power into a force that no one, at bantamweight or beyond, has been able to stop. Each fight adds another name to the list of those who believed they could endure, and learned the hard way that no one escapes the monster. Thanks for watching. Subscribe the channel and press the bell icon for more updates.